Today's video is gonna be the only muscle-up tutorial you will ever need. We all have been there. You have been doing calisthenics for a while. Pull-ups and push-ups have become easy. You might have started doing some handstand attempts and can already do a few dips. Planche, front lever, one-arm pull-up and handstand push-ups all still seem so far away. So what's next? Over 10 years ago, when I put those words into YouTube, there was not a single video about how to learn the muscle up. Nowadays, there are many, and the vast majority of them are absolutely useless. In this series, we want to create proper tutorials, how to really approach all the calisthenics skills, backed up by training science and years of experience training hundreds of athletes, whether it be their first muscle up or their 42.5 kg muscle up. In this tutorial, we will go more in depth than most tutorials do, explaining different scenarios. Therefore, grab a coffee and get ready to take some notes. You are Beppe. Beppe has already achieved his first pull-ups a while ago and can consistently do 12 to 14 in a row at this point. When doing them, he activates his scapulas correctly and can keep them depressed throughout the movement while keeping the elbows quite close to the body, not flaring them out, at least until the last point of the movement. When looking at Beppe's pull-ups, it's quite evident that he's extremely fast in the first portion of the movement, closing the rep just because of the speed generated in the beginning. Beppe has already tried the muscle up, not even close. What is the first step? To learn the muscle up, we need a few things. We need to learn how to swing. We need to maximize force output. We can do this in two ways. P is F times V, meaning we will have to increase our 1RM to maximize neuromuscle recruitment and be able to create more explosive force. And secondly, train explosivity specifically. We will combine the two, starting to train pull-ups for muscle-ups. The transition phase will be the third thing we work on. Here, we will play out different scenarios. The first muscle up will be nothing more than pulling a pull-up for muscle up, so high that you will find yourself over the bar. Pretty straightforward, isn't it? The big catch and the reason for the hundreds of bullshit videos online is all this takes time and patience. Nobody wants to wait months swinging, pulling themselves up just so close to a real muscle up, but without really getting over the bar. No, they want to put a fat band under their feet to feel like they have achieved something. If you want to muscle up, scratch that. Depending on your genetics and consistency, it might take multiple months, even years, contrarily to what influencers say. Thank God, Beppe here has a good requisites, and a trained eye can see that it won't take him long, even if he hasn't done a weighted pull-up in his life. And exactly that's where we will start. The following points will all take place parallel to one another. First of all, we learn to swing with the whole body, back and forward, back and forward. We think or say now when we think we should pull, which is right around here. You might laugh at this, but so many strong muscle-up athletes, especially in the German-speaking countries, get their timing incredibly wrong on muscle-ups, which leads to their legs flying around, and it's one of the first things we have to teach to even advanced athletes. When swinging, you want to constantly look forward. Even if this is personal preference, it will limit hip movement, which needs to be limited in order to respect most muscle-up competition rules. Keep your lats relaxed and your core and abs slightly engaged or even relaxed if you can manage to do so without losing control over the lower body. Beppe will learn to do his first explosive muscle-up singles, chest to bar. This is unspecific for the muscle-up itself, but will still train explosiveness. The pull-up for muscle-up is still too complex for Beppe. We will load his pull-ups, testing his 6RM. Beppe managed 7.5 kgs, even if they were not the prettiest. We'll train weighted pull-ups twice a week using an undulated scheme. One day in the 6 to 8 rep range, the other day in the 4 to 6 rep range for 3 to 5 sets each. We will be doing some horizontal accessory work as well, especially focusing on the closing of the movement, since it's his weak point. Depending on his form and how the weight is moving, we can add sets, reps, or weight week by week. In this case, Pepe's form stays extremely constant. And even if we don't add 2.5 kgs every week and instead go up with sets to create a little undulation, progress is extremely linear. Before doing his weighted work twice a week, Pepe does a few explosive chest to bar singles. Doubles would be too much. 3 to 8 singles, starting on the lower end and building up week by week. On a technical day, or at the end of 2 sessions where he does his pull work, or all 3, depending on how hard of a time he has, Pepe swings around like a little kid. We repeat this week by week, deloading every 3 to 6 weeks. We slowly work our way down in reps, which allows us to increase the intensity, weight in this case, more efficiently. Pepe can soon pull 20s for a few reps and can do double, even triples, where he can get around his stomach, chest height to the bar. At the end of his second mesocycle, we test his pull-up for muscle up for the first time. He has learned to swing and he can pull explosively. The cues given will be: keep your elbows close to your body at any cost. Do not think of getting over the bar. A slight false grip will help, which is not allowed in competition in Italy though, so no semi-falls there. For now, don't even think about getting over the bar. Just pull next to it in a half moon shape. Just do singles, take 1 to 2 minute breaks in between. Try 3 to 6 times to get a feeling for it. Some athletes might already be able to pull at stomach height. In these cases, a simple now throw yourself forward, leading with your head, might even lead to the first muscle up unintentionally. Poor Pepe isn't that lucky. He's very explosive, but he still messes up timing. The swing work can be taken away. We will keep working on the weighted pull-ups twice a week. And before we do the pull-ups, we do pull-ups for muscle-ups now. Singles, starting off with 3 to 5 sets, going up to 6 to 8 sets per session, just focusing on timing and technique while improving the weighted pull-up further. Once the timing is right, the mix of momentum and explosiveness will lead to the first muscle-up. Well, Pepe was lucky. He was explosive to begin with. Girls, for example, often lack explosiveness due to genetic fiber distribution. The process won't be different though, at least until the pull-up for muscle-up part. The process to get to the muscle-up might take way longer. The weighted pull-up might have to get stronger, and to close the gap between pull-up for muscle-up and the muscle-up itself, we will need to use extremely light loop bands. Other scenario, problems with transition. There are cases where everything is right, but just the transition doesn't come naturally. In these cases, doing some extra work like this can help, but this is an absolute edge scenario. And since 10 years ago, I always dreamed of seeing an example of how your training plan could look like to reach your first muscle up. Learning a muscle up like this doesn't only make it safe to learn. I am sure you have seen people chicken winging and then having bad shoulder pains, but will teach you an effective and competition valid technique as well. If you like this video, help us out and share it, and send it to your friends. If you want to know how we prepared one of our athletes to a 42.5 kg muscle up, click on this video. If you want to know how to go from your first muscle up to multiple or even weighted muscle ups, leave a comment or tell us what skill you think we should cover next. Thank you and see you next time.